Hi, everybody. We are live on Facebook, and it's Kate and Oshara from the Seth House. Welcome, everybody.
Well, well, where do we go? This
We're,
is going to be a special Seth Talk, isn't it, honey?
it is. So right now, Oshara and I are pinned, so we're showing full screen.
Okay.
Um, this is, how do I even say this?
I know, I'm
I
thinking of the
know.
same thing. How do
How
we
do we say this? Okay, so I'm just going to say it. This is going to be the last live broadcast that we're doing Seth Talk Live. We have done this for a little over a year now, and we did it because of COVID. We tried to find a way to still keep the Seth group together, and our local people did not join in. However, we met the most amazing people around the world that joined us and that are with us today. And
Okay, let me jump in.
okay,
Uh,
good. Good.
so yes, we started this March
Yeah.
22nd a year ago, and we had a thriving in-person community before COVID.
Yeah.
And when we started the Seth Talk after the quarantine thing, we thought our local gang, what Kate meant was we thought our local
Mhm.
gang was going to be doing this Seth Talk. But what ended up being was more beautiful than we could possibly imagine. Um, Hundreds of people have joined this Seth Talk around the world. And yeah, our gang did jump in, but we were seeing our
Very
local,
little.
we saw our local Elmira community kind of on our own time. We have a thriving Elmira Seth community that we love. And we've been saddened that we can't meet at the Seth House for this last year. And have you guys heard of COVID? Anyway, uh, look, okay, what I want to say is we love you guys and we love what has been occurring with this jumping into the water of doing Zoom and everything. We were like jumping in like we didn't know how to do Zoom, technical problems. We'd have 20 people on the Zoom panel together. We were sharing some of the deepest, most beautiful things every episode. And we were also making fools of ourselves. We were also saying too much. We were also learning to kind of just be public, how to be on camera. So in so many ways, maybe for all of us, we were taking baby steps into this technology and oh my God, we're on TV kind of feeling. And the thing with Kate and myself is my God, we care so much about Seth. My God, we care so much about people. My God, we care so much about this crazy house in Elmira, New York that needs to be restored and needs to be a public place. And doing our best to try to tell the world, here it is. Let's talk about Seth. And we never knew what would happen next. It was always in the moment and always being surprised and always people would blurt things out or wacky things would happen. But oh my God, right at the heart of the matter, this has been the most amazing experience for I think everyone who participated got something out of it, or everybody who watched it got something out of it. Or also saying like, why is that woman going on about her cat? I'm so bored. Whatever. But the thing is and what the hard thing we're trying to come to is to find the words to say that we're things are changing in some beautiful ways right now, and we're going to need to make some shifts for the Seth House. And what the needs of the Seth House are right now is somebody wanting to come in or no?
No, it's Martin.
Okay,
He might be coming in. I don't know.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, so just as of like probably yesterday and over the last few days, Kate and I have been talking about we are sensing that the house is going to be picking up speed. Like as COVID seems to change and the New York State laws have changed about COVID interaction stuff, and we're getting some communications that we may be able to open the house up
Mhm.
again. And if that's the
for
case,
small groups.
weekends would be the ideal time to meet people physically. And Sunday Seth Talk happens to fall on a weekend.
And right in the middle.
And if we, so this is Seth Talk Live on Sundays, but we need to kind of um, take in a lot of things that seem to be indicating what we need to do with our time and energy and the needs of the house, and trying to be of service to the greater good of all things, all Sethiness. How am I doing so far?
You're doing good. And as soon as we made this decision, that we really did need to scale back our commitment, and it's the fact that it's a weekly commitment. Like, spontaneous stuff is great, but this weekly commitment it's been hard, a little bit hard. But as soon as we made this decision to not do a scheduled weekly visit, we got a phone call from someone from Chicago that wants to be here, and it happens to be a Sunday at 1 o'clock. And he wants to visit the Seth House, and he has donations to give us. There were personal correspondence with Rob and him. So it's beautiful, and we really need to make ourselves available for things like that.
And I think this is so exciting that it's turning into, okay, what the Seth House needs to be. And for some of the things that have been happening, it's like everything is just pointing us toward it intuitively. Yeah. That sadly, we need to not, I don't want to say end Seth Talk, but put it on hold. Because, okay, right now it's the two of us doing most of the work. We want Seth House to rise again. We just need to not commit to showing up every Sunday for a while. So we don't see like, okay, this is the death of Seth Talk.
No. And it's not even on, it's not even that it's on hold. It's that it's going to morph a little different. It's the Seth Talk is going to be more, I look at it as within the community of the Seth discussion group, that there's still discussion going
there's
on.
There's so much talking that needs to happen with this whole community. It's just like, we actually in this last week, we keep having wonderful ideas. And in this last week, we started to talk about with a couple of people about, I want to have a Zoom group that's the Seth Speaks book study group. And that kind of Seth scholars talking deep brain about Seth stuff and Seth Speaks and what. And we started that conversation. And then at a very precise moment, we realized, this will kill us if we add one more thing to our plate. So it's like that timeless universe thing. We're in a timeful experience. We just need to put things in the right sequence. And it's like, okay, it's a great idea, not now. So a Seth Speaks Zoom, not right now. And doing this too. We need the weekend for opening the doors to the building. And I will add this, but not in oh, you poor girls kind of way. Kate had surgery late February. No, January. She had surgery late January. I had surgery late February. Thank you.
A month later, 30 days later.
Or 4 weeks or whatever. And both knee surgeries and a different kind of knee surgery. Anyway, some of you already know that, but we're just saying we're still exhausted.
And for some
we're still hurting.
And for some of you that look at that spiritually, that is moving forward.
Legs and knees moving forward.
We were stuck or what?
So the thing is, though, we know there's going to be healing in the long run. We feel it, but we can't do this stuff at the physical house. Even running up and down the stairs right now is like, I can make it up and down the stairs one time today, that sort of thing. So
all right, let's talk a little bit about the Facebook group. So Miriam's on, Britta's on, Joe is on. Joe couldn't join us. I don't know why. It's all the same stuff, but just keep listening on Facebook. We're trying to explain this the best that we can.
We want to put Seth Talk on hold while we attend to so many things that are coming at us right now. We do want to resume our Zoom presence, but right now we have to follow like guidance and some.
So Miriam, God bless you, Miriam. She says, do what you feel you need to do. Just hope we can stay in touch.
Yes,
absolutely.
The friendships we have are everything. That's why we're kind of sad about this. It's like, we love these people. We have these friendships, but this is really going to, in the long run, help create an even deeper bond. I mean,
Absolutely. So spontaneous things. I would like to talk a little bit about the meditations. They're very special to me and I want to continue doing them, but I would like to make them a little more professional. I would like to record them, know that they're done right, whether or not, and we probably won't do them live, but to invite a group of people maybe to join me, not live, but on Zoom, do the recording where I can then, edit it afterwards and take my time and not be rushed to get it up every week.
And to
Eh,
do it at your leisure when you have the
right,
time and you're in the zone where you want to record a nice
right.
meditation
Yes,
and then upload
right,
it
and
for
not
everyone to
have
see.
right, and then it can be uploaded whenever.
Can you imagine she does this? She tries to give a meditation live on Zoom,
I know.
pushing all the buttons and saying, breathe deep and go within. Oh, fuck, I'm having a techno glitch over here.
Don't be saying those.
Feel a visualization of inner peace. It's like, why isn't this working? So yeah, if she can change how she can record a guided visual Seth meditation while not having.
Oh, that's crazy. Our life is a little nuts right now. So I still want to do those things, but not on a regular set in stone thing. But yes, I will reach out to all of you that have been with me in the past. And yes, we're going to keep in touch. And the Facebook discussion group is the perfect place. I mean, anybody can ask questions there, anybody can comment there, anybody can post there. I'm like, if it's Seth related, it belongs there, absolutely. And I'm actually hoping and encouraging you all to join forces there. And Miriam says, oh, Shara, you're so funny.
That's the best thing you can ever say to me. The
It
ultimate
is.
compliment. You're so funny. I just light up when I hear that.
It is. Now I wanna put this on. It's been right on you and me the whole time. So I want to unpin us so that I can. What's going on with everybody?
Well, and one thing to say real quick
bit.
is one thing I want to, so wonderful that I think has occurred in the last year
Gallery.
is how strong this Facebook community has become.
Yes.
We had Facebook pages. We weren't putting much energy into it because we were doing so many other things. And then when it says, okay, we're COVID times, we're doing Facebook, it has so exploded in such beautiful ways that every day we look at the Facebook, the Seth House discussion group, and there's such wisdom and interaction and comments that's like, oh my God, this community rocks. And we love you guys. And Seth friends on our Facebook page, it's exploding, it's beautiful. And people can step into that and just get such gifts of Seth wisdom and the interaction and the wisdom of each individual here. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. And Kyle, here you are. This is your second time here. So you're
welcome, Kyle. Now go away.
Hi. You two are awesome. You two are awesome, Yeah.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
You two are awesome.
Thank you. So I don't want this to be certainly we're not going anywhere. We're just not going to be meeting on a regular basis live on Facebook with lots of pressure every week for a while.
We'll find other ways of putting unnecessary pressure upon ourselves.
You just wait. We'll be at the house and we'll just push that live button and there we will be live on Facebook.
And we're going to be in the moment and follow through on what is how we can be of the best service to the house and also taking care of our wellness. Because as we were saying, it's like we're still recovering from knee surgeries. And it's funny how energy after surgery is an interesting thing, but we keep reading Seth and get stronger and everything. And Kyle, the way I said it a second ago, I said, welcome to Zoom, now go away. It's just like you showed up for the first time last week and the very next time it's like, we're going to end it. It's not because of you, Kyle. It's like, oh, Kyle's on the show. You were so wonderful to join us and we loved the conversation you brought in. And again, it's like, we want the show to continue, but we're just going to take a pause go on or go on.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see all the faces.
Sounds like a good
Oh
idea.
my God.
Well, and
Hello, Martin.
Hi.
Martin.
Hi, Audrey.
the other thing
Hi,
I want to
everyone.
say is Seth
Hi,
has
Gigi.
been in our sleep very prominent. So
Mm.
I woke up, and this is
I'm sleeping with Seth. Don't tell.
oh yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Seth is a slut. He will sleep with anyone and everyone all night,
So that's what that
and
was.
he's good. So go for it.
Oh God. How do I compete with this? You know, how do I stay serious after that?
Martin, you're a nut. I love it.
All right. So anyway, I wake up in the morning and I had this clear message. It's time to get the house ready for visitors. You know, it's time. Things are going to be changing. You need to be available. And I told her about it in the morning, and it was so clear. I'm like, what are we going to do? I'm like, I have the shop open on Saturday and I'm busy on Sundays, and when are we going to do this? And we talked about it. And then she gets an email from Ron Card, and Ron Card in his Seth Dream University had a message that there's going to be a big event at the Seth house. Get ready. Get ready. There's going to be events opening up. This was the same night.
But wait, I want a clear message.
You know, and I'm not going to say it was Seth talking to me, but it was a message to get
Ready.
Seth's
In
house
gear.
ready, right? And he
Yeah.
calls it Seth's house. That's what I hear. This is my house. Oh my God, what am I saying? Anyway, so here we are, and then, as you know, as soon as we make this decision, we get somebody that is like, well, I want to be there on a such and such a day. I look at the calendar, and sure enough, it's a Sunday at 1:00.
And something also
Yeah.
happened recently is three, I'll say, they would say this,
Oh yeah.
3 deaf women, hard of hearing, contacted us and they wanted to see the Seth house.
Just out of the blue.
And we've kind of been, COVID regulations and stuff, but they came a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Kate just happened to take a quick video snippet of it, maybe a 1 minute.
It was 1 minute.
And it
yeah.
was like the perfect minute she could have done it. I was talking to them outside and they're doing the sign language. And I'm waving my hands around as if I knew sign language, which is something people do, which is like, whatever. But, and also too, everyone's wearing masks, but they read lips. They're deaf. So I had to lower my mask, break state laws. But it was like a beautiful day. We showed them around, we talked. They were writing things because we don't know sign language. They were writing things and asking questions and translating for each other. And it was a certain excitement about, oh my God, these people love Seth. We're showing them the house. They're in tears.
Yeah. And actually one of them
was like starting to show the house again. And it was a wonderful, beautiful people.
Yeah. And you guys can view this. It is on the main page of thesethhouse.com. It's all the way at the bottom. It's 1 minute long. It might be, 58 seconds, but you can view that. And it really was wonderful.
And it just felt like that feeling about, oh, we're bringing people to the house. People can see the house. We can meet in real life. They can get that feeling in the place. And they were getting that feeling and tears and looking around, holding their hands. And it was like, oh, this is what it's here for.
Yeah, and having the Seth house is great, and having it on Facebook and video and whatnot. But having the Seth house and people coming into the house to experience it is a whole
really
other story.
Yeah.
And we do, we want to see people there. We want it to be open. We want it to be welcoming. But again, it still is a private home, and we still have to respect that. So we can't just say, well, it's just open for anybody, just show up.
Oh no, that's part of the parameters we have to respect.
Everything has to be by appointment. We have to keep it small groups. You still have to do masking and 6 foot distancing.
We have to be polite in public.
Absolutely.
Because
if you're bad, we'll send you to the people that live in the back.
That's an inside joke.
It is.
But there's it's an 8 apartment complex.
The main building.
The main buildings, and there's also a big carriage house in the back that's an apartment for a bunch of people living back there. But so the Seth House is renting 4 of the apartments, restoring them and allowing them to be open for public view and stuff. But we must respect the privacy of the other tenants who rent there, many of whom do not like Seth and let us know it with glaring looks and rude comments.
And
throwing fruit. Yes, we've had fruit thrown at us.
Uh-huh.
So this is another reason not to just barge into the Seth House without an appointment, because if you just ask anyone wandering around, they may throw oranges at you.
Oh,
We're not kidding. The place is a sitcom, except it's like a lot of stress, but sitcoms often, laugh about all that. So when we anyway, don't want to get too far into it, but just saying, please appointment only, please call us, please arrange a time we can meet you there. We do not live there.
Oh, that's true too.
We live 5 minutes away, but we go there all the time to, whatever we need to do to take care of. But if you show up unexpected and unannounced, you'll get oranges thrown at you by the neighbors, and we won't be there. And we can't be 100% 24/7 on call. No one can. So it would just be call us, make an appointment in advance. We'll meet you there. And we're still at the initial baby steps of trying to make arrangements so that they work for everyone.
Yeah.
And we will limp. We will limp our way to you. This is how, please feel for us.
To you and up 3 flights of stairs.
Yes. So this is a lot. And we have said this before. We sincerely seek volunteers.
Yeah.
We hope someday to be able to pay someone to do some of these things, obviously, but it really is exciting to be part of this project that is so Seth, and you learn so much and meet wonderful people. And just putting it out there, move to Elmira to volunteer at a place that smells like dog poo.
Oh,
oh God.
really? How does anyone follow you?
I mean, the whole house doesn't smell like dog poo. Just a couple of the apartments it wafts out under the doors and anywhere. But it's a sitcom. It is. But the main thing is it's Seth's house, and it's got to be preserved. It's got to be open.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
It is. And honoring Seth's message is we're trying to live in the now, and the now things are shifting and they're changing really quickly. And we're just trying to hold our breath and hang on.
Keep up with it.
And then changing our routine to fit the new flow it's hard. It's hard. It's a work in process. And I'm working on that.
I bet this is just exactly what Jane and Rob went through as well. And they were doing it at a time when people were even less embracing than they are now. You know,
True.
They were establishing what we were enjoying, the new age.
When they moved from Water Street to the Hill House, they stopped doing the ESP classes.
Yeah.
So that's I think you just nailed it, Mickey. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about some of the stuff we're talking about here? What's your feeling and thinking? And you guys talk for a while.
Well, I'm happy for you. I think that you do need to have more time. I've felt that. So this is good. This is good.
Thank you, Martin.
You're welcome.
I support you in whatever you all want to do.
Yeah.
So I really sympathize with your surgery, recovery, and all that. I actually had hip replacement surgery just a couple of weeks ago.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And so I'm in the same boat, I'm just hobbling around. But I know I'm going to be really, really happy pretty soon.
Yes.
And it's spring, and I've got a new bike. And, I'm going to be out there. So it's pretty good timing, really, for a good rehab.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
It is going to be a new life. It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a coincidence, though. We're all getting spare parts, you know.
Right, right,
We're
Absolutely.
getting a tune-up.
right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
had a knee replacement and Kate had a meniscus surgery. And
Mm.
anyway, not to dwell on it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
keeping Seth in mind as we go through the healing process and trust
Mhm.
why we brought these things into our reality for a higher good. And I get it, and it's good, and we're healing, and time to make some changes that were needed so we can take the rest of our lives to be in even better shape for keeping up with all the beautiful stuff. So, Kyle, good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so jealous. Oh Lord. I need the knee and the hip surgery. It's not on the horizon yet. So
Well, we had good results, and yeah,
that's
Oh, is
great.
there something, a message you were going to there?
Miriam, she supports us. So
Yeah.
And she also says TMI, Oshara.
Oh, that could apply like
TMI.
every other minute. It's
Yeah.
like TMI is too much information, not the Monroe Institute. So TMI, yeah,
Or the power plant.
that
No.
blow 3 Mile Island, 3 Mile Island. Yeah. So I am only guessing which TMI she
Yeah.
attended, but
I
yeah,
think it's too much information.
Kate gets a lot of that. You know, the best thing about Kate is she keeps secret some of the things I blither about, and just goes, "Oh my God, I live with this." It's like I'd rather blurt. I'd rather blurt. Just keeps me laughing.
Oh.
The Seth, this incredible information, and I realize, you know, maybe somebody's going to view this 100 years from now if they have nothing better to do, and and think what an interesting, just hear what we're talking about at this interesting pivotal time.
Yeah.
And
And we're creating all of that. I mean, Seth said we're creating all this around us with our thoughts. You know, moving forward, we have to always be fluid and not be stuck where we were. And we've created a wonderful group of people that are going to keep on discussing, I hope. And you know,
well, and I think, you know, everyone's creating their own reality, but we're having a shared mass event
Yeah.
reality called the Seth House. Like, here's you and I having our experience with it, and here's other people bringing their energy to it, and people not even born yet may be enriched by the Seth House, like they say in 100 years or
Sure.
something. And for that, this co-creation is people we may not physically consciously know in this moment, sending their good wishes, sending their energy. It's an interesting play of how things get co-created, especially things that are of this nature. I mean, the Seth material. Wow. And what this could mean to people, to the world. And so we just really take this responsibility seriously. But I think a lot of people do who care about this and want Seth's message to reach people who so desperately need it. Really?
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
So you were talking about basically a reading group, and is this something that you've done, or you or others have done in the past? I mean, it sounds like something that would have happened at some point, but I missed it.
Okay, well, I started reading Seth 40 years ago, exactly 40 years ago this year. And I learned about Seth because I couldn't understand the books, but a friend of mine told me about a Seth discussion group. And as a little newbie with a book I didn't understand that had a scary front cover, I walked into a room with strangers, and it changed my life forever. Because I was in a Seth group, I could understand this stuff, and it changed everything in my life. And it healed me on every level. So for these last 40 years, I have started so many Seth groups. I have joined so many Seth groups. It's just people come together in a room, we bring our books, we read, we talk, we discuss, we help each other understand. Now, we had started a Seth house 4 years ago here at Kate's business is called the Healing and Learning Center, and we started a weekly Seth study group 4 years ago here in Elmira. And then when the Seth House emerged, we moved it right to the building where all these words were dictated, which is a tingly feeling. You're reading the Seth books where they were spoken in the Seth House, and lots of tears, lots of tingles. It's wonderful. And then because of COVID, we had to stop having group meetings there for over a year now. And then we went to Zoom to open the Seth group to the world. And it's been amazing, amazing, amazing to have this Zoom group. We also had an idea in this last week. It was what I've wanted too, in addition to this open forum Seth Talk, was to have specifically a book study group with people who were familiar with, like, Start with Seth Speaks or what have you, and that we could, have like an old fashioned in a person's living room Seth discussion group, but in the little boxes where we stick to the book, the words, quote, and that sort of thing. And we started to talk to a couple people about this idea, and then we quickly realized this will kill us to add one more thing to our plate.
Right. No, you can't do that, really.
So we went from having Seth Talk, wanting to have an additional show, to we have to stop both. And it's great to have all these great ideas, and we just need to put them in the right time sequence for how the Seth House is growing and how we can live long lives, healthy lives together. But also, yeah,
and things are growing. See, that's the thing. It is morphing, and more things are happening.
More is happening.
So, I foresee when we're at the Seth House, especially if there's a little event that's going on, even though it can only be a small group of people, we may throw live stuff on at that point. But it's just the regularity of the weekend that
and that we need to open the weekends for what might happen. And as we get people, and that's the thing too, is like the feeling of people are gonna come. Maybe someone out there is feeling like, yes, Elmira, I want to help the Seth House, and they feel an intuitive thing. I shall come and visit. And
it sounds like you are going to really be focusing on the physical Seth House and your in-person events and so on. So, but people like me and, people who don't live in Elmira, I think what's going to happen is that, I'm gonna do my best to get Mick interested in doing some kind of online exchange, right?
Good.
That has a little bit of astrology in it, right?
And that's by us kind of pulling away, maybe other people will rise up to whatever they feel called to do. So we're hoping that some people will intuitively think to themselves, I want to go to Elmira and help the Seth House happen.
Right.
And maybe the doors are going to be open by appointment. Hey, let's find out if there's a click here. Or locals too who already live in Elmira who are Sethies or want to find out more. So
exactly,
like something is, and we have to be present to welcome who might want to contribute their energy to this, right? Boots on the ground kind of feeling, or remotely too. There's things that can be done.
Absolutely remotely. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Kyle, and I do not want to make the Seth House just for people that could visit it. I mean, we will continue to do remote things. We will continue, even if there is a local event that happens here, we will have live broadcasting. We'll have other things so that people could participate in it from a distance. There's so many people that we know that don't live around here that can't travel here for whatever reasons. Some are health reasons, some may be financial reasons. Whatever those reasons are, we don't want the Seth House to be such a clique that you have to show up to participate in.
Thank you.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Don't
okay.
And I've always thought at the beginning, it's that no Seth reader anywhere on earth should ever feel alone, that they don't have someone to talk to about this. So this is why we got to have the online presence. We've got to have websites full of information that they can just click anywhere around the world that will help them feel connected to others, and that people can independently find each other, like a directory. Well, there's got to be other Seth readers living in your town. How to find each other with some kind of a directory where you sign up and say, hey, I'm willing to host a Seth group in my home. Is there
Okay,
any?
you're just adding to your task list, you know? That's
Yes!
what you're doing. I mean, you don't really have to do that. I give you permission to not do that.
Well, I want to read from Facebook. Joe is on and she said, this is answering to Kyle. There are other Seth Zoom meetings and other groups taking place. And I know because we get invited to a lot of them and we can't participate in them. One of them happens to be at the exact time we do this one.
Oh,
And I've never been able to make it to their meeting to even see what it's about and to talk to the people there. So that's true. Thank you. And Joe, I'm going to reach out to you to put in here, right in the comments, maybe a link to one of those pages or a few of them if you know what they are, and Kyle can see them later.
Yes. Let me add to that.
Okay.
Because that was something we wanted to put on the website too. Is like, I know there's
links to meetings.
Links to Zoom meetings. There are Zoom meetings happening around the world. We don't know where all of them are. I know that there's one on Wednesday for the nature of personal reality that we were at a couple of times a year ago, but it's always in the head. Try to find all these online Zoom discussions that are inviting people to join them and put it on the website so people can do exactly that. Link. The global networking needs to happen. And sometimes I just need to like have dinner or something. And I trying to find these. So if people can let us know, where are these groups, or people who have these groups, let us know. We have a links page that we would add them to,
and when
to help promote other people's work getting Seth out there.
And when we initially did the website, they were on Meetup. People were meeting in person. And everything now is different, and we're trying to find these. We've asked people, let us know where you're meeting. Let us know these things.
And I gotta say too, you remind me, when we first started Seth House, there were maybe 20, 30
meetups.
Seth meetups on meetup.com. If you haven't heard of the website, meetup.com, it helps groups get together. There might have been like 30. And the last time we looked post-COVID is 4.
Yeah.
So because the meetup is for in-person groups.
So times are changing, and we just need to keep fluent with those times.
Yeah. And be of service.
But we don't want to stop, we don't want to stop the virtual stuff, because that's important to people too.
It has to grow, but right now it's going to take an inhale before it can go forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the important thing for me is to know that if I wanted to have a Zoom group and to actually, lead a Zoom group on Seth related subjects, that you would support that and you would let me announce it.
Yes.
Anybody, we want to put pages on of other people in the world doing Seth groups, in-person meetings, Zoom meetings. We want to help connect the dots. It would be nice to have a directory of people who just want to put their name out there and say, I'm a Seth reader. We can talk, write to me, or I want to start a group in my community. I mean, you can see how I overwork myself, but we got to do these things.
Let me say something. This is something that was said to me. I did not make this up, but it is very important. Is Oshar and I have been in a river, and the river is now going to branch off into little creeks that are going to flow into bigger rivers. And Kyle, that's exactly what you just said. You're going to branch off and you're going to start a Zoom. And yes, this big river is going to support the creek, and we're going to flow together. I love this, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe it's just time for this wonderful Zoom to like a river becoming 5 tributaries.
Yes.
And to keep flowing this energy out there, but people taking up the oar for themselves, like people who were in a group now starting their own groups.
Right.
Now that we've taught each other certain things, everybody start their own group now. I see like 5 more Seth groups coming out of this, online, in person. Spread the holy word. Be apostles for the. Okay, I'm done. Go for it.
But anyway, I love what you're saying, Kyle. That's going to work. perfectly. And yes, we will support you 100%.
Anybody out there, Miriam, Joe, we got these beautiful people who've been observing us. This just means it's time for you to pick up the staff and walk forth and start do what you feel in your heart, feel like this would excite me to start a group or a Zoom or
Yes.
whatever you feel like, whatever you feel like you're.
Yeah. And I've been doing
Your
Zoom
thing
a
is.
long time, and I'm certainly not an expert, but I can certainly help.
Yeah.
You know, I can help get people started. I can help with certain things.
And do your vision, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Seth. If you feel like you want to open a dog shelter, I don't know, whatever your thing you feel in your life you want to do. Things are starting to change in the world and open up. So part of that, things are opening up better than ever, and I'm going to be part of it. And here's the dream, the vision I want to act on for myself.
All right.
For yourself.
Joe,
what's your vision?
Joe is going to look for all those links, and she's going to put him here. Thank you. And she says, you take all the time you need, ladies. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a heartwarming community. You know, Ron Card is a big part of this community, and he has the lousiest internet connection, so he can't join us on these. But we love him, and he's there, and he watches them, and he supports us, but he's not able to participate in these live remote sessions,
high-tech stuff.
So he does it in his own way, and God bless him for what he does. We love the insights that he puts on this session.
Ron Card is one of the wisest Seth scholars ever. He has inspired people. What he writes himself about his interpretation of Seth, I've said to him, I say to people, we need to take the best of Ron Speaks and make books, volumes. He writes all night about interpreting Seth, and God, he's the greatest blessing in this world. So it's so funny. He has enough internet to get on Facebook and post on the Facebook pages and to write this brilliance and with good humor about what Seth is to him, and that's what has inspired so many people. So we would, again, me trying to think of all the wonderful things we can do, like I want to grab all these brilliant Sethies, there are so many, and just say, broadcast 24/7, keep talking, keep sharing, record these things,
now,
write books.
Did you hear that? Now she wants to publish a book for someone else, right?
Ron has to have Ron's greatest hits of his. It will happen. It's just I can't do it this weekend.
So has anybody read? I'm sure I'm maybe not. Maybe I'm the last one who read The God of Jane. I just got that book.
I read it 20 years ago, I guess.
Heard of it, but
what do you want to say?
I think because it's a mixture of her writing and drawing from Seth sessions, and there's a wonderful piece. I mean, there's a wonderful part of it where they're corresponding with some scientist, right? And I mean, he's a blockhead, even though he's a brilliant man, I'm sure. But when it comes to anything outside of the normal, he is completely out of his element, and he deals with that by just kind of screening everything out that he doesn't want to acknowledge that it's actually real. And anyway, I like that book because I wanted to give you a little more background about me. Would that be good?
Sure. Yeah.
So I have a scientific background. I have a scientific background. I got an MS in computer science. I got an MS in biostatistics. I mean, I've got all these things that that you need in order to be a real blockhead when it comes to stuff like Seth.
You got the brain that can compute.
But guess what? I was a Sethi before any of that. And I was an astrologer before any of that. At the age of 22. And so I've had a real revelation. I've had an epiphany over the last, since we were last here on this, like 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
That, I mean, I'm reconnecting with the Kyle of 1974 and 75 and realizing just how significant that was to me to be learning Seth's material and getting into astrology basically in tandem. I mean, I was doing a lot of reading, and but I realized early on that Seth was saying something that astrologers didn't get. Right? You know what I mean, Mick?
Understatement. Huge understatement. Yeah, I've had the same struggle.
Yeah. And so I basically went, I mean, I've had a career writing astrological software, and I'm sort of retired from that, but I'm realizing where my real motivations have drawn from. I mean, where's that river? You're talking about the streams and the rivers and I feel like there's a huge divergence that happened for me, in the mid 70s, that is coming back together now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Much to
Me
my
too.
amazement.
Me too.
And
Exactly.
I'm telling astrologers that I know, wow, now I understand why, even though I'm one of the best, most qualified people in the astrological community to do, research the way they define it, which is very, very conventional mentality. I'm telling them, I'm coming out to them as a Sethi. And to myself, I'm coming out to myself as a Sethi.
I'm coming out.
And it's awesome. I mean, I feel a freedom, I don't have to try to explain why is it that I don't really care whether scientists are happy with what I do. I mean, there are people in the astrological community who are just totally obsessed with, we want to prove stuff. We want to prove stuff, and we're not going to be happy until we do. Well, guess what? That you are talking from a vanishing worldview. A vanishing worldview that is not where I'm at. And yet I like to do things thoroughly and rigorously. I mean, just like Jane, right? Jane was like that.
Yeah.
Jane had a rigorous mind, and Rob as well. And they were very, they had amazing integrity as far as walking that fine line between, the rigid science folks and the real woo-woo folks, right? So that's a tricky line to cross or to follow. And I have personally followed that line myself.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
I want to comment what you're saying is so inspiring, because we're in a world where everybody will tell us we're wrong about anything. I mean, Christianity, science, psychology, other woo-wooists, other Seth readers will tell us
Yes.
we're doing it wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like I think one of the most important challenges of this world is that very thing, to be true to yourself, to take care of yourself, to be honest with yourself, to trust your own intuition, to
Yeah.
be yourself.
Right.
And coming out as thinking for yourself and feeling good about it, and to be able to let go of opinions about you. Hey, I love you anyway, but this is my truth, and let's just change the subject and talk about something else if you don't want to talk about what I'm interested in. I love and embrace everyone out there and the paths they're on intellectually and whatever, but you got to be true to yourself. And I wish that for other people. I may disagree with what you're saying, still love you, believe it, go on your path, read your books, what's true for you. That's the gift to give everyone, and yourself first.
Well, one of the things about
Honesty, Kyle, and I'm so glad you're bringing that up, that self-honesty, that integrity, to think what you think, to believe what you believe, to be able to say what you want to about what you're feeling, but coming out honest with what you think, with your own thoughts and feelings. So it's a very important point, Kyle.
I think Mickey's got something to say too.
Well, I'm just so tickled to have run into the research that Kyle is doing, because it meant that some other things came together for me that definitely started back in the 70s. I've walked that line you're talking about, where, in fact, mine was 3 different paths. I had come from such a totally Christian background and then assaulted it with all of my woo-woo, and then ran into Seth. So I was trying to learn how the 3 things correlated. And I find that there's a period now where Seth is the whole Seth community is evolving. There are enough people in it with different views that some of them are coming from these other traditions that we knew. And now we're all beginning to find a language in common. We're beginning to find ways to communicate from the different camps to each other. And therefore, we're finding out that we were all saying the same thing, but speaking a different language. So now that we are learning to interpret, to translate what the other group was saying, we're starting to find commonalities that are profound. I'm particularly interested in the road that Kyle is taking with his research, because I had never thought of putting the 2 things together. I thought they were diametrically opposed. And now I come to find out that there's actually ways that astrology encompasses absolutely what Seth's saying. So I'm very intrigued.
Somehow, he did not talk about astrology much.
No.
And when he did, he often kind of put down, the state of the art, right?
Yeah.
And yet he left the door open.
Exactly.
Saying, this is astrological.
Yeah.
But he's okay, Seth, if I would love it if you would just give me a little more on that. He kept it under wraps a little bit, or
But I didn't realize those things that you quoted gave me new insight, because I had missed many of them. Plus, someone who quoted recently I saw, and it had come from the deleted sessions. Well, I didn't know about them until this year. I didn't even know about the early sessions and so forth.
We learned it here on Seth Talk, I remember, yes.
Yeah. So for Rick Stack to be publishing these other books, it has had a massive effect on what we all thought we knew about the previous bunch of books. So there's a lot for us to chew on as a community. And there's a lot for us to come together and explore mentally and emotionally and spiritually. This whole community is just bursting forth. You can see it's so Sethian in the way that it's growing and morphing, and it's bringing out so much of what we're each about. We have things that are in common, but we each have our own uniqueness as well as to how we're going to apply what we're learning. So I'm so grateful for that, because it was very nice to understand that what I thought of as astrological truth is not diametrically opposed to what I thought of as Sethian truth. I can see. In fact, I had written something the other day when I was thinking about it, Kyle, after I
Mhm.
read your stuff, and I put together some things. And I don't know if that's backwards on the screen or
Hmm.
what,
Hmm.
but it says belief
Yeah,
in
right.
its physical form becomes truth, and truth is the current reality or the now. We have such expanded nows. I can see where your beliefs, which create the environment in your head where your soul is and where you're manifesting from now, it's that belief. This is what Seth teaches us, that what you believe is actually manufacturing your reality, and your reality is your own truth. So, truth and reality is coming from what we create. We are creating our own reality. And so, to see that astrology offers you a way of applying a timing system, because we're in a system that recognizes time, doesn't mean that what he said is different. It just means that this is the part of the set that we're playing out on. These are the furniture on the set, part of that preconceived idea of what this play is performing from is a set that includes time. And within that context, then astrology functions as a wonderful way to explain um, resonance to me. It's all about coherent resonance, and
Yeah.
I'm loving it, because something went bing when I was reading what you wrote, Kyle, and I thought coherent resonance. It's
Wow.
all coming together.
That's a
So
great term.
thank you. But I love what's happening in this community. With the help of the two of you, I'm learning so much. Ashara and Kate, I keep I'm your biggest cheerleader, because the things I'm learning, my rah rah sis boom bah has gotten a real workout this past year. you know, I've even got a tiny little short skirt I wear. But anyway, I won't show you that. I won't show you that image.
It's so funny. Miriam, I thought, she says, this is for an adults only session. She's right. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm so blessed that we have been able to help in any small way to bring people together, to have a place for you to explore your ideas. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Well, this is just so affirming. I mean, I have sat and I was just too embarrassed to actually say out loud in our chats, Kyle, but I was rah-rahing for you too. My mind just exploded with what you presented me with. And I'm so anxious to explore it and hear more about it,
And
And someone brought up something else. Someone was talking to me about, that old refrain of you ought to write a book. I want to explore, and I know eventually I will, but this is not soon, folks. But I want to explore a way of helping my cultural community understand Seth better, because there are things within that community, because it's so very deeply church based, there are some things that are assumed that are not possible for your thinking, where Seth is all about it. And he's explaining so much that we need to know, because it's a culture that has such a heavy um, foundation in victimhood. And Seth offers you a magnificent way to put that down. So I want very much to
Yeah.
explore that, okay? Because just like I'm sitting and going through all of those things I talked about in my Seth Talk before, when I was saying about the Ku Klux Klan following me around and blah blah blah. It's easy to come from a space where you can't see outside of that costume, and once you understand it's a costume, and once you understand that at the same time you're reading this script, you're also over there wearing a white sheet in another reality, that's a big one to accept. That's hard. That's hard. So we're on both sides of each story. There is no story where we don't read both scripts. And that's a hard one to chew on, you know. So I can see things, changing. I can see all kinds of things that people are coming to understand in their own lives that they may be able to add some kind of clarity to in the Seth community. Who knows where we're all going to go from here?
No.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you, Mickey, about so you've met David Bowie, right?
Oh, yeah, very much so. Yes.
So,
How did you know? When did I say that? Oh, well, yes.
no,
Okay.
well, because
But I have.
you sounded like you had met him when I said, oh, he's got different colored eyes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Right.
yeah, right. That
I
conversation.
thought Jane had different colored eyes, but really, really
She had
not.
brown eyes. She had brown eyes.
Really not so
Yeah.
much. But no, there was this wonderful. It reminded me, but there's this wonderful story about David Bowie that when he met with this autistic boy, this very shy
Oh,
boy. There was some event, and a class came to his performance. This, elementary. He was doing elementary school, and there was this. So they were all asking him questions, but there was this one kid that was very shy and kind of autistic. Really, what we would call him now, and but this was probably back in the 70s or
yeah,
whenever.
that's when I knew him. Yeah.
And so you got to look it up. You can just, I would not do justice to the story, but it's just look up David Bowie and the Invisible Mask.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So he just seems like such a Sethian or something. I mean, he's just so out there.
Yeah.
And
And I'm not sure he realized that as being the source for the thinking he had that he shared, with that philosophy. But
yeah,
he's just so far ahead of his time.
yeah,
Just incredible.
yeah.
A really beautiful, beautiful human being.
I want to jump in real quick. I was holding a thought of something you had said before. Earlier, you said some very interesting things. Let me see if I can just jump in where that was. It was about the Seth books, and actually everybody reads a different Seth.
Yes.
There's such a mountain of Seth information. What comes
Yes.
to us is often exactly what we need or what we need to hear or what gives us something to chew on. And one thing that I think is interesting, when you brought up the subject of astrology, I in my early 20s, I studied astrology. I should say I'm 61 now. And thank you, Miss Clairol. You've meant all the world to me. Kate dyed my hair. God bless her too. But so I'm 61, and I'm reading Seth for 40 years. But one of the early things, I studied astrology for years in my early 20s. I think maybe like 10 years. And then one day I had this, for me, a personal epiphany. It's like, wait a minute. It's up to me to decide what I'm doing on Thursday. It's up to me to decide who I am. And this was all Seth inspired too. So it's like,
right.
in an instant, I dropped astrology because I did not want to read other people's opinion about who I was or what was the best thing for me to do this week. And in an instant, I got what Seth was telling me about I create my reality.
Yeah.
I just dumped everyone's opinions about what the stars were making me do.
Yeah. Well, the stars impel, they do not compel.
It
And
was
what
a
you do
very
is up to you.
important choice I made, and I felt this sense of complete liberation from, oh, I have to do something this week. What day should I make it so that the
Yeah,
moon star is Mercury, blah, blah, blah. I dumped it.
right. Well,
All of it.
that's just
And it was
not the
a
way it's
free-
supposed to be applied. You
it
know, I
was
mean,
a
people who are
free-
telling you that,
it was a freedom and a liberation that shifted my inner, how
yeah,
I choose to live my life and
yeah,
how I choose to make my decisions and how I
yeah.
choose to be in the world. I'm Aquarius. That means I have to be crazy and a genius and all brotherhood and love. And
You are.
I get
Well,
but at the same time,
well,
It's,
I'm not going to let anyone define me anymore.
no,
I
and
was
I think that
letting
what you're talking about,
astrology define me, and I stopped that. I stopped reading astrology. I started hardcore, and I've been doing this ever since. It's up to me. It's
yeah,
up to my intuition.
yeah,
I am not locked into if someone's a Taurus, they're bullheaded. If someone's the Scorpio, oh, you're all about sex and intensity. It's like I call this sun sign bigotry. And it's
well,
you
where
gotta
if
get
you
through
hear
that layer.
someone,
and,
a certain
There's a whole
sign,
layer of
you'll lock it
bullshit
in your
here.
head who they are, and you do not see who they are.
Yeah.
And it's like there are so many pitfalls and mistakes with astrology that it is just not a worldview I'm going into. But just like I said before, everybody have their belief, have their research, have what sparks them, have their thing, regardless if it's astrology or psychology or the priests and the prophets and the scientists or the Sethis or the woo-wooists. But also there's something that backed me up in Seth about that was towards Unknown Reality, Volume 2, towards the end, Seth said, it's not about astrology. And I think that was the moment where I finally got it. Oh my God, what was I doing? And then he launched into stuff a little later on about the families of consciousness. And this kind of is another way of kind of define if we knew more about what our families of consciousness were. But right before Families of Consciousness, he spoke about astrology for a few pages. And what I got out of it was, no more astrology for me. Other people could read that very same several pages of Seth on astrology and say, see, Seth agrees. And I say, no, Seth is saying, no, it's not
now, well,
astrology itself.
can I interrupt 1 second?
And I'm glad I got to get that whole concept out there because that was very important for me in my growth.
I understand that. And I reached a certain point within the study of it where I understood exactly what you're saying, because I would say that about 99.5% of all astrologers are talking crap. Okay.
Yeah.
And I say it because it's just like with Christianity. The average person sitting there next to you in the pew on Sunday morning has never studied Christianity. Okay, they come on Sunday, they clap their hands to the music, they listen to the preacher ask for more money, and they talk about how awful Miss So-and-so is because she wore that damn hat last week. Well, how Christian is that? Okay, these are people who are going to tell you how to be a good Christian. So the same thing happens in not just astrology, but in science and so forth. When you have any group of people who are talking about what their greater, more intense beliefs are. And within astrology, it talks again about coherent resonance. It's like reading the contract that you signed when you came. It's just the description of the suit you're going to wear and the environment you're going to do your living in. It's not trying to tell you that you have to live at whatever address you're living at. You're free to move anytime you want to, but we do have a list of things that we can't change. I will never look like you, and you will never look like me. It doesn't mean that you don't have a rich menu of things you can change, but it is simply a way of isolating the more probable things that might be part of the contract you had this time.
And I hear Seth saying there are no limitations except the beliefs you choose that are limiting, stuff like that. And I want you to know I did so much research into astrology. I'm not talking like a person in church who just gossips about hats.
Yeah.
could make charts. I was making charts for people I knew. I know.
I understand
I
that.
know,
I
but
don't mean that
let
though.
me finish my thought. I'm an Aquarius with Aries rising and a Capricorn moon. I have a stellium in my 9th house. Yeah, I tell you exactly what each house and the planet and
Yeah, yeah.
I read people's charts. I drew up their charts, and God damn it, I am not going to be limited by that belief system. I honor other people having that belief system. I am thankful to Seth for giving me the words towards the end of Unknown Reality Volume 2, where he said, it's all about what I think. And no, there is no framework that if I was born in a country that did not know astrology, great.
But what I'm
What I
saying,
mean is, it's like it's what's inside us that guides us. It's
yes,
our
I
connection to our
agree.
higher selves. It's
I
not.
agree. I agree completely. But what I'm saying to you is that when you describe how you agreed to come and be here, it's not impossible for someone else to look at a few facts about you being here to say, well, okay, this was your decision as to what to do to come here and be who you are. I'm talking about spiritual astrology. I'm not talking about people. My clients, I got rid of 90% of them because all they wanted to know is who will I marry and will I make money? No one wanted to know
Mhm.
anything about the 9th house.
Okay.
No one wanted to know
That's
anything
where
about
my
the 8th
stellium is,
house.
in my 9th
The
house. But
8th house is not just sex and real estate. People usually don't even understand the true nature of sexual contact and what else is going on besides just the fluids. It's so much more important and richer. You see what I'm saying?
and
I'm
again,
talking about a part of astrology that's totally about spiritual application
and
and
again,
it dovetails.
and again, what's so beautiful about so many people with so many different ideas is that we can come together and talk about spiritual things and share
Yeah.
that we have different opinions. So my different opinion is like I renounced the astrological
Yes, I understand that.
framework in my way of interpreting reality. Everybody gets to have whatever frameworks they want to have, but that's just not part of my interpretation
But
of
what you're saying makes
spirituality as
sense.
I perceive it anymore. But
What you're saying makes perfect sense to me. Absolutely perfect sense. I've been to the same place and came to the same conclusion. And I got totally out of it for a long time.
Yeah,
But
I
then
did too.
the more spiritual I became, the more I explored understanding my spirituality,
Yeah.
the more I started to see correlations to some other ways that I had learned that reality might be set up. So I
and we all
understand
use different
exactly
tools.
what you're saying.
We all use different
Anyway,
tools for interpreting our reality and different tools of interpreting reality.
Yeah, yeah,
And everybody has to, the great thing about life on earth is there's plenty of offerings for different
exactly.
finders and different
right.
things that may work for us in different ways. And different things work for different people in different ways. And glory, hallelujah.
One thing about, yeah, one thing about astrology is that it's a huge, vast topic that all sorts of extremely different people
Yeah,
do things with.
yeah.
And nobody on the planet, as far as I know, does anything remotely like what I do
Yes,
with,
I agree.
with astrology, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean, not even close.
yeah.
And the reason that I do what I do is because Seth, for one thing, amidst everything else he said, Seth said, yes, this is essentially astrological. There is an essential astrological connection with reincarnations and counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my whole ball game. That is what I'm interested in. I am not a practicing, consulting astrologer in any way.
Yeah.
Um, and what I'm interested in is, yeah, talking about pushing the limits of what Seth said. Oh, well, it's, there's certainly no way you could use astrology as it's currently known to do what
Right.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's okay with me because I spent quite a long time, preparing myself and getting to the point where I could conceive of something else. And then at a pre-appointed date that I really wondered about. I mean, there was an astronomical event on a certain date. And I said, oh, so this is going to be the day that all this is revealed to me. This is really what a concept, nothing like that ever happened to me before. And on the appointed date, the curtains opened and I saw, oh my God, this is what can happen. This is what I can do with this. I can, and then eventually, I mean, that was 7 years ago. And since then I have refined it to the point where I'm willing to get I'm willing to show up in a group like this and talk about it. So one thing I want to know is, what does it take? What do I need to do? What do I need to edit in order to present my case study of Jane Roberts? I have it all written up. I just want to know what, you can review it. You can tell me what you don't like about it. You can tell me what it would take for you to support it.
Wait, I did you switch topics just then? You were talking about astrology, what it means to you, and now you have a case study of Jane Roberts and you want her opinion of it. Did I miss something? I'm sorry.
I don't know exactly what segue I did.
Yeah, you were talking about astrology, and then you said,
But yes, I'm talking about Jane Roberts.
and what's it going to
I'm
take
talking
for us
about
to
what I
review it?
do. What I do is totally different. It has very little to do with what we know of as astrology.
Right.
And I have demonstrated this. I've posted a couple of, I posted a study of William James first. I got some likes on that. People like that. I posted one on John Lennon.
You're talking about astrological interpretations of these
Yeah.
people?
Oh, you didn't see my posts. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. You posted it on our Facebook page. Is that what it was?
I posted it on our discussion group.
No. It's okay that you see, like we said, we're busy here. And if I don't read everything everyone's writing, please.
It doesn't matter.
It's good that I'm saying I don't understand what you're saying. It's because I didn't read up on you.
It doesn't matter.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. I just want to know. I want you to read what I did send.
Where did you send it? Again, I'm coming at this completely ignorance, like many people.
Posted it on the Seth House group.
The Facebook the Seth House discussion group.
Discussion group. Is there some other Seth House group?
Well, yes, we have another page that's the 501c3, and I'm just being specific because if somebody just is doing this for the first time, they don't know any more than I do.
Anyway, so you should tell me where to post, because I don't know where to post. I don't even care where to post. You just tell me and I will post it there. Already, Mickey, maybe you could help me with this.
Yeah, I have a copy.
So did he post it in the files section?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, he has posted the document to me as well.
I saw it.
Oh, okay. And
I wanted to say this, that seems to be not a bone of contention, but a point of confusion at the moment.
Just confusion. You're saying, just
wait. The thing is, Kyle, although he is an astrologer and is using some of that awareness in what he's talking about. I think for me, anyway, the main thing that made me intrigued was the fact that his research has a great deal to do with Seth's description of counterparts.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And so when we do talk about what he's written, that's the standpoint from which I think the two of you would be able to understand what each other are saying.
Yeah.
Okay. If you ignore the part about it being astrological and just um, look at and grasp the part of what he's saying using that data, that's just the data through which he isolated the research. And what he's discussing as um, a concept is a slightly different way of looking at counterparts. And that's where I think you will be able to understand what he's saying. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
going to take some time to look at it when you get a chance, because, like you say, you two are busier than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But, you
I
know,
like that. I like that. Well, let me just say one thing real quick to kind of complete all this. I'm sorry if I just didn't understand. I was asking for
yeah,
clarity. And thank you
yeah,
for clarifying that what you were talking about, I was like, so I wasn't involved in this conversation last week. So, or
right,
2 weeks ago.
right.
So start fresh, push the reset button. And I just want to say this, you get what you focus on.
Hmm.
So you get what you focus on, and we can ascribe to any kind of philosophy or any kind of thing that we are individually studying.
Yeah,
And I may not want to jump into your course of study over here or another person's course of study. And it just isn't somewhere I want to study. If someone can say, you have to study the
no,
Gnostic Gospels of St. Thomas, I don't
no,
like reading that. I have to be honest. I just don't feel like reading that. I
I
did
wouldn't
read it
either.
way back when. I don't
I
want to.
did read it. I did read it, but
Yeah, I did read it too. I don't want to go there
I
again.
ran like mad. But I
Right.
did.
So it's kind of like I'm going to be spontaneous and true to myself and read what I feel like reading. And everybody is so much a huge course of study. And all that is manifesting through each one of us
Yes,
studying exactly what they want to study. There's things I don't want to study. There's things you don't want to study. There's things we've studied in the past. We don't want to go there again.
right.
But the joy is that we have a future filled with studying wonderful, beautiful things.
Yeah,
Having experiences is even more important than what we're studying. So for me, it's like I want direct focus. You get what you focus on. I want direct focus on all that is.
yeah,
Direct focus on my entity, my
yeah,
higher self, my oversoul. I'm focusing on living in that energy field, and it works. And this is
yeah,
where I want to live and keep expressing from and being true to that direct guidance that's helping me live a physical life and doing the highest good I can. So this is where my focus is, and this is where I'm going to. I, it's been a life forging that to be more aware of and being more true to what my inner self is and where I'm putting my energy into where I feel lit up for me personally with all that is and my entity and my higher self and guiding me through this physical life to do the highest good I can at this time. That's my gig. And
hmm,
I'm so happy I'm at this time in my life where this is
hmm.
what's clear for me.
It reminds me of the point where Jane is talking about the scientists who came to visit her, and I'm saying scientists with an S. Um, there were several times when different physicists, scientists, etc., mathematicians came to consult her and Rob, well, to talk to Seth about theories they were working on within the scientific community. And they were very adamant that they weren't interested in woo woo, but they wanted to check because Seth had made some statements that they'd heard from others. And they were intrigued by the more scientific applications of the esoteric things he was talking about. So they came to Jane and actually had sessions with her. And when they left, they went back into their scientific community and applied those things that Seth had explained to further explain what they were looking at. So they, it made me feel whenever I'm studying physics, I look at some of the things that were discovered and clarified within the scientific community during that time, or right directly afterwards. And I look at it and I laugh to myself and wonder which one of them actually visited her to hear Seth explain their own thing to them. You know, and it reminds me of that in this context, because we're talking about two different areas of thought, two different areas of theorem that seem disparate, but actually share some things in common, where each one is actually in support of some of the tenets of the other one. So I understand exactly what you're saying, and I can appreciate exactly how you're expressing it. It may not be anything you're even interested in, because like you've already explored that. You've already gotten the goodie out of that to your satisfaction. And there are other people who are studying the same thing and may have come across another little small path within it that, oh, this reminds me of that. Oh, this reminds me of that. But for so many people who are looking at that, they don't see any correlation at all and are not interested in finding out about it. So I feel perfectly fine with what you're saying. I understand it completely. I really do.
And we have
It's
to
a tool set, and it's not the
intellect.
only one there is. Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, what did you say?
Oh, astrology is a tool set, but it's not the only one there is.
Exactly. And it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
only a tool set. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we have to be true to our own inner language.
Oh,
Yeah.
And listening from my vantage point, the only thing I know about astrology is I'm a Leo, and it's awesome. So I am such a newbie.
She
in
said
all
with
of
her
this.
mane, her
But
gray
you know,
mane.
whatever. I just but anyway, I don't understand any. There's been comments on Facebook, and I've read it over and over and over because I just don't even understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just
I want to see this. What
so
are people
just
saying?
I
about
don't know.
this?
They're talking about natal charts now, and anyway, it's just more. It's way more than my comprehension is. But listening to the conversation, it sounds like what you're doing, Kyle, is you're taking something that you know and you've studied it very well. You are applying it in an entirely different way. You're almost making a new modality out of the knowledge that you had, pulling it from Seth, pulling it from astrology, wherever you're pulling it from, and you're coming up with something entirely different that you want to teach and share with the world. And that's beautiful. And I encourage you, and I will look for your stuff on there, because we look through so much that, yeah, we do miss stuff.
Yeah.
But please do,
Well,
we
I
will look
was-
for it. If you have something, so one of the comments on Facebook was, did he actually do a reading, or however they worded it, about Jane Roberts? So please do post it, however you post it, and let me know, like even tag me on it so it catches my attention. Because you did ask me about something that you tried to post, and what I learned was it was not on our site, it was someone else's site that I'm a member of, but I don't have the ability to approve a post on theirs.
No, and
yeah. Yes.
But the other thing would be that I wasn't sure what the problem was, and so I actually posted it to both groups.
Okay.
You know, the Seth Material and the Seth House Discussion Group.
Right.
I posted it to both groups, and it was not approved on either group. So that's all.
That is so weird. I have to wonder if Facebook is blocking it, because it's not.
I saw it. I saw it on one of the
please.
sites.
Yeah, I
I'm-
saw it on the
I
Seth
saw
Material.
it. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: is it like a document, or did you just like type in words in a
It was
new
a
post
common
It
post.
is well, you saw the photo.
of Jane's face, the old photo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
But
it's on there. Click that and you'll get to it.
It's a PDF document.
yeah, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. If I should I simply post it?
Well, let me look into
For
it a little
what?
bit more, and then I will private message you to what I find
Okay.
out, and we'll take
Right.
it.
Yeah, let's
We'll
take the
take it. We'll take it offline
Yeah.
between you and I, and we'll get it up some way.
Yeah, let's take
Yeah.
a conversation offline about that. That's a tech
Yeah.
issue, and she can answer your
Yeah.
questions offline. At this
Right.
moment, it is 2:30, and we only have a half hour left of this special magic moment of what's going to amount to be the last incarnation of this particular Seth Talk.
Right.
But we're looking forward to a reincarnation of the Seth House Zoom life in the so-called future. But Kate also has, I did that really well. This incarnation of Seth Talk will come back as an ascended master.
Oh yeah,
on
we're
Seth
gonna
Talk.
reincarnate in a different way. Yeah.
That's it. I like that one.
Yeah, yeah.
And right now it's in between lives, and it's. I got to tell you too, the conversation that we're getting on Facebook
Is
is
deep.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, this is part of the great show too that happens with Seth Talk. You know, it's not just like the boxes on Zoom, but there's people that talk to themselves,
Well, they talk to
each
us.
other and us, and say things and put in their comments. That's just also a big part of this. So many of these people have been on watching the show every Sunday practically, or many Sundays for a year, and they're just as much a part of the Zoom community of Seth Talk as those of us who do like push the Zoom button. But they're putting such beautiful.
The sad part about that is what I record and what I upload does not include the Facebook comments. So you have to go to Facebook to see them. However, I never take them down though. So you could actually do the hashtag Seth Talk, and you can find the whole list of them.
Mhm.
It really is good commentary, and it goes, you know, they follow what we're saying,
Oh,
and then they talk
absolutely.
amongst themselves. So I'm glad that this is preserved on Facebook, and it's part of like the history. There's a history to this. I think to all Seth conversations, you know, wherever they're taking place in living rooms or online, or just friends who care. But there's just something very special about it, and something very human too. You can tell it's human beings trying to grapple with huge, beautiful, poetic information and truths, and getting us to ask questions and to interact with ourselves, each other, to ask the big questions, to receive big info, and grow and grow and grow. It's not just about the words and the teachings, it's what we do with it in our hearts and minds and souls, and taking it to these precious lives we have, our incarnations. How do we live? These are the everyday choices. How do we choose to live our lives?
Mhm.
Wonderful, wonderful. Kate,
Where do you want to go from here?
we have
Kyle, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, what would you like to do? I don't know.
Well, we do have a meditation that Kate is famous for, her Seth meditation.
Yes, I definitely want to wait for Mickey to get back though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but other comments open to.
Why don't you read a couple of the comments, because that way they are preserved on this.
I don't know where to.
Yeah.
But as far as this being our last day of this incarnation, our last broadcast of this, we should definitely post this on our website, because I love stimulating conversation, and we've been having some very stimulating conversations about lots of things, and this is exciting too, and sharing, you know, passionately about things that we're learning and we're studying and we're trying to grapple with. So I think there's been some nice stimulating conversation here on a variety of topics. But you were here, you heard what we were all talking about and everything. But right now, I guess there's a couple bathroom breaks before the meditation. But Audrey, Martin, anything about what this weekly thing for a year or however long you've been on, what does this mean to you? This show and this coming together we've had, and this break time, we'll call it, for Seth Talk. What's it all about for you guys?
Well, it meant the world to me. I fought coming every weekend because I'm anxiety ridden about it, but I wouldn't have missed it. I had nobody to talk to regarding Seth, and it was just, it lives in my heart.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great, like a little dinner party, except that the dinner is the dish that we're having is the meditation.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very fine for that. I mean, I love coming to that every week. But I mean, it does not have to be every week. No, it is. I love coming to it whenever it or however it occurs. So, yeah,
beautiful.
And we
Well,
can
To
all
me,
astral project and see each other. Yes, Audrey?
there
it
you
feels like
go.
family to me.
well,
All of you.
Yeah,
Audrey, you are close enough to drive and see us anytime. You
Yes, yes,
just call and make an appointment. Make sure
I
we're
will.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll meet one day.
Yes.
Oh, I so think so. Yes, yes.
And everybody out there, you can always astral project to the Seth house in
We've
the
done
future.
that,
In the future,
yes.
when it's a little more
Mhm.
cleaned up.
Yeah.
So aim for the future.
Yeah, we've definitely done that.
Zero in on that. Ooh. No.
Ah,
And I'll miss you all.
no, you won't miss us. We'll be right here.
I
And
know.
we
Yes.
also have over 50 Seth Talks on our YouTube page.
Yes, we do.
You can watch us
Mm.
take our baby steps into trying to communicate through this
Yeah.
amazing technological
And when you
atmosphere.
guys see us on, feel free to, chat. I'm on a lot because I'm very techie and I'm always doing the computer stuff. So feel free to just either message or,
Mhm.
chat me up.
And
It's
we'll
all
always
good.
we'll always
Yeah.
be on Facebook. I don't look at it every day.
No, she doesn't, but I do. And then
she
I
does.
tell her what I see. I mean, yeah.
and then I do all these. We do. We love the Seth readers and friends and just good people who have, wished this project well and send the good energy. And please remember, we're just humans and we're doing our best. And we set about, a learning curve. We're making mistakes. We're embarrassing ourselves. And that's kind of a rule about coming to Earth itself. You make mistakes, you embarrass yourself, get used to it, and keep doing your best and keep trying to show up. And I have to stop myself when I get in these terrible loops of, oh, I shouldn't have said, oh, I shouldn't have done, oh, it could have all been rewritten better. Because I can just hurt myself. And I think that's a human thing too, is we can hurt ourselves wishing we had done better. And that has been a major learning in Kate and I taking on the Seth house. I wish I'd have blah, 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 better or sooner or different or better. And I wish I knew so much more than I know. But it is first thing, got to keep coming back to love yourself anyway. Love yourself anyway, and keep evolving and keep growing and keep doing your best. But please love yourself. I don't want anyone to go through some of the self-hatred I have gone through with simple mistakes I've made. And I know I wouldn't hurt anyone like I've hurt myself. So the one wish I have for all of you is don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
No.
You're a part of all that is. You're a glorious, wonderful being. Don't hurt yourself. So I say that for me to hear too, that I want to do the best I can and not and just be good to myself. I think that's one of the most important spiritual and Seth rules. It's in there somewhere. Yes, baby.
All right. So I just want to answer something on Facebook. Amy said, so no more Zoom meetings. So what we're doing today is the last of this series. That's not to say that we're not going to do it anymore or something similar or something very different. But the weekly regimen right now, we are taking a break from, and keep watching on the discussion group, because this is where I'll be posting the information, either here and also on the website. But as these weekly ones, yes, they are going to be discontinued. So next week, we won't have a Seth Talk Live, but with any luck, we'll have a meditation up at the same time that you'll be able to view and participate in.
Yeah.
And we do have the meditation to get to, and we're running late.
And I'd like to add to what she's
Okay,
saying.
go
So
ahead.
like next if you missed what we said at the beginning when we were trying to make this announcement, it was just that things are changing at the Seth House. It feels like things are revving up for a new opening of the actual building and the workload we're going to have to step up to. So we needed to, and this is kind of a recent coming to the conclusion of, is that we love this Zoom group, but it's on a Sunday and it's live, and we're probably going to be needing to spend more time at the Seth House live to greet people and to make movements in that direction. So the idea is to put this live Zoom on hold, and then in the future find a way to have an interactive or a Zoom program that'll be of service for the next level of whatever Seth House is going into. Now,
Yeah.
for next Sunday, though, as she said,
Right.
she's going to pre-record some of these Seth meditations and just play those Sunday at 1:00. So that way it's recorded, it's in the can, and we have a presence that you can come to on Sunday if you want to see that and meditate with her. But that'll also be put on Facebook and YouTube, and you can view it at any time. But it's really cool that Kate wants to develop this recorded meditation based on Seth that can really enrich people and help them go through a beautiful guided meditation based on Seth. So that's going to continue if we can handle it. And like we said before, we have so much on our plate that's changing now with things in the world. It's, restrictions with COVID in New York State are loosening, so we can start doing things. But we are kind of stepping into the unknown, as we all are.
Oh yeah.
And we want to be of highest service as we can to the Seth House, 501c3 nonprofit. So keep checking Facebook, keep checking our website. We're going to keep putting out more offerings for this. And we just have to take care of our wellness, and only so much time in a day to do all these things.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate the support and the understanding from our pals here who have come together and have loved doing this.
And Mickey, Audrey, and Martin, you guys have been here since the beginning, and you three have been like the mainstay that's been with us,
the core group.
And Audrey, you said it's been very difficult every Sunday, it's like because you're shy or whatever. I get that. And there's been so many people that have come on that said, every week is just an awfully big commitment for me to do. And I'm like, really? We're doing it. so we get that. And that's why a lot of people dropped out of it. We tried switching times, and then we lost some people that were really committed to that particular time, and we missed those people. Shauna was one of those people. We haven't seen her
a
since
lot of
we
people
changed
wanted
the time.
to join us on Sunday. A lot of people wanted to join us
Yeah.
on Sundays, but they're not free on Sundays. They have family commitments or whatever.
Exactly.
So maybe too, when we start again, it might be trying to find time.
Right. It might be a different time that works better, but it's not a weekly commitment. I think that was difficult for everyone, but you three, especially, for hanging in there with us and being here every week for us. I mean, I can't tell you how much that means to me. I remember one week in particular that it was just me and Audrey was typing to me like, oh my God, Kate, I hope somebody else comes on because I'm scared. And nobody heard that. That was just between me and Audrey. So I blew it there. But you know what? I was just as grateful that you were the one that showed up and I wasn't there alone.
This is so beautiful. I mean, the human interaction, we have so much to reflect on, to be grateful for, and to look forward to the next incarnation of this when the time's right. But I'm thinking about this, a whole year of this, we have so much to be thankful for, and the friendships and grateful, and the learning, and maybe touching other people out there who are watching this and got something out of it that was good for good. Yeah. And that was all our intention ever was. Yeah. How can we give something good? And
I think it started out once where Kate was alone, and I said, I will support you from now on. You'll never be alone.
I love you, Audrey. Love you. Well, I see our Mickey is coming back. So let's move into the meditation.
Yes, and we have
just 15 minutes.
15 minutes, but if we spill over a little bit, we'll let her do
okay.
that. Yeah.
The meditation is usually about 20 minutes, and then a little bit of sharing, and then we'll say bye-bye.
Big hugs, blow kisses, and we will meet again, or we'll still have the same relationships we have because Facebook and astral
Yeah.
projecting and the Seth House, the love for that
Right. And
project.
we're here and accessible, and we want people to reach out.
Email us.
Absolutely.
People out there, email us anytime, info@thesethhouse.com for any questions or to volunteer.
And Kate
or
will
to visit.
answer it.
Yeah, and again, it's info@thesethhouse.com, and
Yep.
the Seth House phone number is 607.
Oh my gosh, 442-1315.
That's it. Check the websites to make sure
Yes.
we're not like
And-
brain
And
glitching.
that phone number is pretty much a message only.
It's message only, yeah.
We do check it every night, and we will call you back.
But it's
yeah.
message only.
But we
at
don't
this
pick it.
time.
We don't pick it up. Well, we're not there.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
but info@the-Seth House. See the website for other ways to contact us, but phone and email direct is the best way to get a hold of us. If you just post something on our Facebook page and think we're going to get it, it could go downstream
could.
before we catch it on a busy day.
And it goes down fast. So
yeah, we have so
please,
much stuff being posted on Facebook. It goes down.
private
gets by
message
us.
It does
us.
go
I
by
see the
fast.
private messages.
Yeah, private
Yeah.
messages. So please be in touch. We love you. We sincerely mean this. Unless we don't, and then we sincerely mean that too.
Nikki, you're back. We've been waiting to do the meditation. Woohoo!
I'm sorry to hold
No,
you
no,
up
no.
there.
No, it was
No
it was
problem.
good. It was good.
Yeah, we were catching up on.
Yeah.
We had some nice.
He
hugs with
he
all-
had a small emergency there. So
Oh, is he okay?
kinda.
Kinda. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, we're
I think
almost.
we're okay. I think we're all right. And I've
All
made
right.
him a cup of tea.
oh, good. That'll help every Englishman.
Every Englishman gets
Give him
better.
a cup of tea and a spot of tea. Yes.
It's a small spot of tea.
That's
Yes.
right.
Quite
Cheerio.
good.
Jolly good again. Yeah.
Is it all right? Quite good. Quite good.
Quite good.
Oh,
Quite good. Yes, yes.
Great.
So as we were saying, that we have it's close to, but we'll do the meditation, and you can all review this session.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go back over it at another
yeah,
point. Yeah.
and we can go over time because
Yeah.
Kate's got a really nice meditation.
Yeah, and this one I'm gonna try to actually edit it nice. Put a beginning, put an end, blah blah blah. You know,
Oh,
I see, and that's
see?
another thing. I'm moving into a place where I want to do more with it, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
You need
But
the
I'm
time to-
learning. So everything I'm doing, it takes time. I have to research and look it up, and how do I do this? How do I
Yeah.
do that? Blah blah blah.
And to not
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what
do
I'm
it
going
live,
through.
do it at,
Well,
you know.
and not to do it in a hurry. So what I've
Yeah.
been doing is I've been rushing through things and just like,
Well, the
and-
nice thing about doing it
oh, a little.
recorded, you can edit and make it the
Yes.
way you want it to be. You can
Exactly.
subtract or add, and then that way you can do it with this.
Yes, and
Exactly.
it's time that the Seth House, like we've gone from such baby steps of throwing a website together and really not knowing what we were doing, and opening doors and having events, and then doing local stuff, then doing the Zoom stuff. Well, this is now a little more mature, professional Seth is what I think we
Fine-tuned.
need to move to.
Yeah.
So
Seth
that's all we're doing.
2.0.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
So it was great to have the exuberance of live,
Yeah.
but now we'll get the
Yeah.
getting it just right with
Yeah.
editing and really get a pure message
Yeah.
and all this stuff. So I'm gonna lay down on the floor.
All right, you do
And
that.
she's gonna do what she does well.
And I am going. So
And I love you guys.
So what
I
I'm
really do.
doing here, it is called switching internal and external realities. It is from the Individual and the Nature of Mass Events, session 830, and you can find it on page 148. Now, during the exercise, I mute everybody. So if anybody has an emergency, that's okay.
Yeah.
We won't hear you. You won't disturb anything. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. Oh, I almost just muted myself. Well, that wouldn't have worked very well. I'm all nervous now. All right.
That's not going to work.
All right. Mute all. Okay. Okay. So everybody's muted now. So no worries about interrupting the meditation itself. All right. So let's start by just settling into where you are. Close your eyes and let's use that 3 to 1 count. We'll inhale deeply. On the exhale, I want you to use your imagination and see the number clearly and say it to yourself, 3, 3, 3. Getting softer each time, then 2, 2, 2, then 1, 1, 1. So let's go ahead and do that now. Inhale deeply and exhale. Imagine seeing 3, 3, 3. And inhale again. And on the exhale, 2, 2, 2. And inhale and exhale, 1, 1, 1. Now I'd like for you to use your imagination and see yourself standing on a cliff in front of a waterfall. And it's a warm day as you feel the warmth of the sun descending upon you, and look to your left. And you're going to see 10 steps leading down to the bottom of the waterfall. I want you to imagine a rope running along the steps. And in a moment, I'm going to count from 10 all the way down to 1. And as I do, I'd like you to start going down the steps. And with each step that you take, you will allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into relaxation. Now take hold of the rope and focus your attention on the beautiful waterfall as you begin going down the steps. 10. Allow yourself to relax as you hold on to the line. 9. Let yourself go all the way down deep. 8. Deeper and deeper. 7. So very relaxed as you feel the warm mist from the waterfall on your face. 6. 5. Deeper and deeper. 4. Seeing now a faint rainbow coming out of the waterfall spray. 3. More and more relaxed. 2. Almost at the bottom. 1. Deep, deep relaxation all the way down and totally relaxed. Now notice beautiful crafted benches molded to fit your form. Sit and get comfortable on one of the benches and just listen to my voice as I read Seth's words on switching internal and external realities. Your world and everything in it exists first in the imagination. You have been taught to focus all of your attention upon physical events so that they carry the authenticity, reality for you. Thoughts, feelings, or beliefs appear to be secondary, subjective, or somehow not real, and they seem to rise in response to an already established field of physical data. You usually think, for example, that your feelings about a given event are primarily reactions to the event itself. It seldom occurs to you that the feelings themselves might be primary, and that that particular event was somehow a response to your emotions rather than the other way around. The all-important matter of your focus is largely responsible for your interpretation of any event. For an exercise, then, imagine for a while that the subjective world of your thoughts, feelings, inner images, and fantasies represent the rock bed reality from which physical individual events emerge. Look at the world for a change from the inside out, so to speak. Imagine that physical experience is somehow the materialization of your own subjective reality. Forget what you have learned about reactions and stimuli. Ignore for a time everything you have believed and see your thoughts as the real events. Try to view normal physical occurrences as the concrete physical reactions in space and time to your own feelings and beliefs. For indeed, your subjective world causes your physical experience. In titling this chapter, I use the word mechanics because mechanisms suggest smooth technological workings. While the world is not a machine, its inner workings are such that no technology could ever copy them. This involves a natural mechanics in which the inner dimensions of consciousness everywhere emerge to form a materialized, cohesive physical existence. Again, your interpretations of identity teach you to focus awareness in such a way that you cannot follow the strands of consciousness that connect you with all portions of nature. In a way, the world is like a multidimensional exotic plant growing in space and time. Each thought, dream, imaginative encounter, hope, or fear growing naturally into its own bloom, a plant of incredible variety, never for a moment the same, in which each smallest root, leaf, stem, or flower has a part to play and is connected with the whole. Even those of you who intellectually agree that you form your own reality find it difficult to accept emotionally in certain areas. You are, of course, literally hypnotized into believing that your feelings arise in response to events. Your feelings, however, cause the events you perceive. Secondarily, you do, of course, then react to those events. You have been taught that your feelings must necessarily be tied to a specific physical happening. You may be sad because a relative has died, for example, or because you have lost a job, or because you have been rebuffed by a lover, or for any number of other accepted reasons. You are told that your feelings must be in response to events that are happening or have happened. Often, of course, your feelings happen ahead of time because those feelings are the initial realities from which events flow. A relative might be ready to die, though no exterior sign has been given. The relative's feelings might well be mixed, containing portions of relief and sadness, which you might then perceive, but the primary events are subjective. It is somewhat of a psychological trick in your day and age to come to the realization that you do, in fact, form your experience and your world simply because the weight of evidence seems to be so loaded in the other end because of your habits of perception. The realization is like one that comes at one time or another to many people in the dream state, when suddenly they awaken while still in the dream, realizing first of all that they are dreaming, and secondarily that they are themselves creating the experience drama. To understand that you create your own reality requires that same kind of awakening from the normal awake state, at least for many people. Now we will take a few minutes to experience the switching of internal and external realities while we are together and safe, and while our eyes are still closed after hearing what Seth said. Let's just sit quietly together and imagine that our individual thoughts, feelings, inner images, and fantasies represent the rockbed reality, and that all physical events emerge from those thoughts, feelings, inner images, and fantasies. Look at the world for a change from the inside out, so to speak. Forget what you have learned about reactions and stimuli. Ignore for a time everything you have believed and see your thoughts as real events. Try to view normal physical occurrences as the concrete physical reactions in space and time to your own feelings and beliefs. For indeed, your subjective world causes your physical experience. Now we will pause for a few minutes to watch those thoughts, feelings, inner images, and fantasies and see what physical experience emerges. Now that you have experienced Seth's exercise, it's time to come back to Seth Talk, totally fresh, remembering all you experienced and feeling wonderful in every way. Say to yourself, every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. And on the count of 3, you will be fully back and ready to resume Seth Talk. 1, you are beginning to emerge, feeling totally relaxed. 2, your mind is clear and alert. Take a deep breath in and out and wiggle your fingers and toes. Your eyes are starting to open, and 3, eyes wide open, fully awake and feeling fine. All right, now, let's see.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate.
All right.
Whoa.
Yeah. I have been sitting with this one for 3 weeks. This one has been so powerful. And as I went into it, and I do try to dig deep down, go after I get you guys in. My thoughts were all about what's going on now, and how I hope that this spawns more and more conversations and more Zoom sessions and in different ways. And just looking at Facebook, Amy already wants to start doing something again, and she'll be contacting me, and I'm like, how, my intent, my feelings, my thoughts were that it is spawning something, and she's come up with something, Kyle's come up with something, and if Mickey and Kyle can collaborate together, which sounds like it's going to happen, that's beautiful. And you guys have all of our support. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now
This
that's
is
that's
interesting.
manifesting quick.
Yeah. Very interesting meditation.
Tell us.
I can't really put it into a context yet. It's
Okay.
half formed. I'm going to have to go back into it because
Okay.
I was being asked about it several times.
Ah.
That kept bringing me out. But
With the meditation, did anybody have any special experiences? Because that was a beautiful journey Kate took us on. Would anybody like to share what may have emerged for you, or how that was for you?
For me, I think I'm pretty content and happy. I saw slow motion budding flowers and sun coming through trees. I mean, it's kind of my life now, and it just made me appreciate, and I'm pretty lucky and happy.
Oh, and you take the most beautiful photographs of that life around.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
you. Spring's here, more to come.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Other
I,
feelings about
I
the
will say that when I first went in to the meditation and I got to the foot of the stairs and sat on the bench,
Mhm.
I noticed that for the first time, my feet were in water. I was at the edge of a beach, so there was
Oh,
ripples. The water around me, around my feet, around the seat, there was about a 2-inch little waves, little ripples. So that whole one was literally sitting in water. That was weird.
you just gave me a little bit of the chills because I saw an ocean also, and I'm like, no, I'm
Uh-huh.
supposed to be by a
Exactly.
waterfall.
Exactly. And I thought, well, where's this ripples coming from? But as I came down the stairs, I was stepping into the water.
I
Beautiful.
was on a beach too.
Very grounded.
It
Yeah.
was a beach. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Oh, good. I love it when there's commonalities between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Audrey and I were skipping on the beach.
Nice. Martin, were you on a beach too?
No, I ended up somehow on a very, very sharp mountaintop. I mean, it was just I was like right on the top of it. And when Audrey mentioned flowers, there were flowers all over the top of that mountain.
Oh,
Wow.
So
We're all
when she mentioned
connected.
flowers, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was
That's
sunny.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, it was very, very pleasant. Um, yeah, my head, I don't know why my head it feels like I got a giant head right now, like a big bubble. What that's all about.
Buddha behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I was totally out until just a little bit before you brought us back.
Well, thank you,
The
Martin.
whole
Because
time.
that's my goal.
So another it always surprises me because it's like I don't notice it happening and then boom. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was out. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I think that's, we could be dreaming that all of a sudden there's a noise and we come out of it and go, oh, it's a shame I came out of the dream. But because we came out of the dream, we remember it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
sometimes those interruptions that can happen in the middle of the spiritual visions or what have you are perfect, including coming out of meditations, because it jarred us just at that second. I am able to bring it back consciously, what the meditation vision was or what the dream was. So whenever you find yourself waking up having something you're bringing back, be glad that there was an interruption or coming back from the meditation or whatever, because it allowed you to have both hands on it and say, all right, I
Yeah.
remember this, I do recall this.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Kyle, do you have anything
Hmm.
that you'd like to share?
Oh, I had a little snippet of a dream, but not much context except that it was a flying dream.
Mm.
Oh,
And it was like maybe I jumped off of that mountain with something,
With Martin.
some flying gear. I was hang gliding. That's what I was doing.
beautiful.
Yeah, maybe.
Beautiful.
and this was right here during this meditation, not a dream,
Yeah.
but a
Or
vision
maybe,
meditation.
well, I think of hang gliding. I mean, maybe I was hang gliding without a hang glider. I mean, that's
There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome.
possible too. I don't remember the hang glider really. I just remember,
Flying.
the flying. Yeah.
I
That
was
is
hovering
best
too.
feeling.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Martin?
I was hovering too. My feet weren't on the ground. I mean, I was right. It was just a little bit above the ground, but yeah, I was hovering.
Mm.
Wow,
So
interesting.
yeah, hang gliding too.
Okay. Well, on Facebook, Joe said, I got a confirmation on having an alignment session in the summer with the essence of Mother Water. So great to know as well. There would be more free life in a few months. And Amy said she was imagining herself in Florida during part of the meditation. Interesting synchronicity. And Joe said, I heard water say, whoopee. So thank you, everyone. Yeah. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
Thank
Seth.
Thank you for that. That was a nice one to wrap up with. Yeah.
Yes. And there's so many more to go. And I
Mhm.
can't wait to, keep going over them again and again and bringing them all to you and then having them all in a place where everybody can access them for all time. Like Oshara keeps saying, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, our great, great, great grandchildren are still be able to access them
Right.
and
That's true.
learn from them.
Yeah, I wish they had Zoom in the 1500s or the 1200s. I mean, when you think about the stuff we could go back and see,
Yes. Yeah.
one of my greatest regrets when I think about history, I think about when they burned the library at
Mm.
Alexandria.
Alexandria. Yes.
You know, in a timeless universe, it's uploaded somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it
We
is.
can
We can
just go
digitally,
before.
get a library card a few months before that happened. And
Truly.
just running like crazy. But as Seth says, though, nothing's lost.
Yeah.
No,
Everything, every
no. It's just that
experience.
it's obscure to me at the moment. So
Yeah.
I need to
And, then-
find ways to access the information that has been,
and
cloaked
it's within us.
in the mist of time. Yeah.
Mhm.
And all the information we need is within us. We are the housing of this information. We have
Exactly.
access
Yeah.
to everything. And I also love it popped in my head about Seth's predictions of the linear future
Mm-hmm.
have been so positive, that our collective humanness evolving for the better and becoming more aware. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he said Seth Speaks chapter whatever about just the 50 years ago he wrote Seth Speaks, and he was saying in 2075, which is another 50 years kind of, by then so much will be accomplished that you'll hardly recognize this human species because we'd advanced so much.
Mm-hmm.
So in this timeless universe, we're on a path to just better and better and better. And in a timeless universe, all the information like you're talking about, we can access it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess the main message of this Zoom is keep reading Seth and keep finding out all of who you are and all of what you can access.
Yeah.
And share your favorite quotes with people, especially on the discussion group. Share your favorite quotes. Why are they your favorite? And even talk a little bit about why it means to you. That's important to people, to hear the stories of why something means something to you, and it may make it more real for them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially new people that are coming that don't really, they may not just read a Seth quote and hear the quote and remember the quote, but they'll remember what you thought about the quote.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can do, all of us, recommend Seth to people.
Oh yeah.
Because one person recommended Seth to me and handed me one of the books, my life has changed forever. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how so many people got turned on to Seth, because one person said, you ought to look into this. I really like whatever your words are, but because someone recommended to us, it changed our lives. Let's continue to give that gift. Recommend Seth to other people.
This is pay it
Because
forward.
yeah, and yes, and people say, gee, why isn't Seth as hugely popular? Well, maybe our generation, we forgot to say, why don't you read Seth? I really like this. Everybody who loves Seth here and now was just to tell a bunch of people, I love the Seth books. You got to check them out. Or here's a copy I'll give you a copy if you want one. Whatever. There would be a Seth explosion in the world like never before. So if we want to be the change we want to see in the world, part of it is somehow we were exposed to Seth because some people or spirit friends put that in motion with us. Recommend Seth to people who love you, or people who know you're crazy, or just in a conversation with a stranger. Stranger. I love the Seth books. Seth Speaks, Nature, Personality, Seth Material. Try to get a hold of a copy of that. Read that sometime. It's really great stuff. If you just take a moment to say something like that to anyone, there's the Seth revolution that might make the difference in at least that person's life, or who knows how many other lives. So recommend Seth.
That little purple book, I mean, they really need to reissue that. That is just a little jewel. I mean, that.
Whatever copy they can get, but
What
Seth
purple
Speaks.
book? Which one are you talking
Seth
about?
Speaks. Seth Speaks.
the Seth
little
Speaks paperback that was the weird look of Seth.
Beautiful. It's just
that's
beautiful.
But it's so many versions. I mean, just and go online and Google Seth. I mean, if they can't get a book right that second, tell people to Google Seth. Tell people about Seth.
Tell people to go to YouTube and look up Tim Hart. and he reads Seth.
Mhm.
But recommending Seth
Yeah.
Speaks, Nature of Personality, Seth material at first for starters. But if we just did that, if we just recommend Seth to people, imagine what it could do to their lives, so many other lives, and just this human collective growing of spirituality and consciousness. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
But look at the difference in how it's spread now to how it was spread 50 years ago.
Yes.
It's come
Get
a
it-
that
long way.
bumper
But
sticker.
now you can
on
Google it, like you said, but
Yes.
we didn't have Google back then.
And
So
word of-
it's
word of-
growing in a different way.
And
Yes.
word of mouth is eternally the best advertising, especially if
is.
someone who likes you and trusts you is just say, read this.
Yeah.
Or here's a
Get
copy.
a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
get a bumper sticker that says Seth loves you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh. Seth loves you. That is a great way to end.
Yeah.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you. Thank
You're-
you,
you're
everybody.
welcome.
And thank you to all of the people on Facebook and everybody that's joined us through this last year of trying COVID times. And we're not going anywhere. We're gonna be here. Reach out to us.
Bigger and better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep watching for events or live stuff that we know, but I'm thinking some stuff may just be very spontaneous and, but we'll always keep them up and running. Yes.
Spontaneous is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm kind of a planner, so spontaneous is hard for me.
Oh.
I'm working on it.
But,
I'm into spontaneous. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Good. Good. I love that. Wonderful.
And thank you guys for all you did
Yes.
You're
and
so
do.
welcome.
and will do.
And continue to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just moving forward in a different step.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
More and more and more to come.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
I love you all. Thank you so much.
Love
We
you.
love you too.
Bye. I
Jane.
love you guys.
Take care. Take care of Seth House for us.
Oh, we
Yes.
will. It's in our loving hands and
Yeah, I can
every-
see that.
all of your loving hands because
It's a collective.
yes, very much.
I think there's a
That's
lot of
right.
invisible influence going on with it. And but anyway,
And the thoughts and the love, yeah, we can feel it.
there's a huge
Yeah.
collective thing going on with this, but more to come.
Thank
Yes.
you.
More to come.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be in touch.